Hello Kemperland and Kemper Forum and Kemper Facebook groups, so whoever's going to be watching this, here is the video that I said I would try to do on the Kemper Forum. So I'm showing my setup. I'm using an iPhone 6 Plus, so it's going to be a little difficult to do this with one hand because obviously I have to hold this thing. I don't have a stand for it. I'm also battling a cold right now, so if you hear a little sniffling and weird noises, that's probably what it is. But I'll do my best to show you what I have going on here. Alright, so here's my Kemper. It's the 600 watt powered toaster, and this is my second Kemper. I had an unpowered one before, loved it, was an idiot, traded it for a Les Paul, and I always said I'd have another one another day, and that day came a lot sooner than I thought it would because it's just an amazing piece of gear, probably the best piece of gear I've ever bought. So if you don't have one, you should go buy one. So here's the Kemper, and what I received last week. Here it is, the remote, the foot controller for the Kemper, and this is another amazing piece of gear. I'm loving this thing. It's super simple and easy to. If you don't know anything about MIDI, don't worry because you don't need to. This lets you do pretty much anything you need to do with the Kemper just by pressing a few buttons. It connects to the Kemper by this cable, and this is actually it locks in here. It's really sturdy. It would take a lot of force to get this out, but don't try it. This thing here is a LCD contrast, and there was a lot of talk on the Kemper forum, guys worried about this thing breaking off because it's located on the back here. My solution is just do what I did, just get a board. Here's my other stuff that I'm not going to have in line today, and I don't have this hooked up, my talk box. And this is just for the Kemper stuff I'm going to show you today, but get a board. I mean, it doesn't have to be a board this size if you don't use anything else. Just get something smaller that fits this, or build one. And I mean, I have a tuner here, but you could get something, something on the back here that lifts up just to protect this thing. There's no way anything is going to get to this on here because this is here and this is here. It's pretty well shielded, so I'm not really worried about that thing. Excuse me. Alright, so here's the cable, and it's actually pretty long. I gigged this rig this past weekend for the first time, and no issues whatsoever. I believe I had this all running for about 5 hours straight with just no worries. It just ran really smoothly. I was really happy with it. Hopefully you guys will have that same outcome when you get to hook this stuff up. Now that cable goes into, ta-da, the network input on the back of the Kemper. And really the only other thing, this saves on a lot of cabling too, because the only other thing I have plugged into the Kemper besides the speaker cable, and sometimes I'll run the left and right to the Soundman, even though I have a cabinet on stage with me. I prefer a guitar cabinet for whatever reason. Maybe I'm just used to it. I'm old school that way. I've tried some of the powered monitors. I just couldn't get the same feel out of them as a regular guitar cabinet. But I do send out the overall Kemper tone to the front of house, and I went out front in my gig the other day and it sounded amazing. It sounded so good. I just wanted to stay out there and play the whole time. But the only other thing I run out of here is usually I run out of the direct output to my singer. He usually brings his own monitor in-ear system where he has a little mixer on stage and he just controls all what he hears. So I'll send my guitar out of that to him and give him some volume, and he's good to go. The cabinet I'm using is a 212 Lopoline, and I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure there's a 75 and a classic 80 in this cabinet. And I played it through a few different. I played it through a greenback cabinet. I played it through a cabinet with all my 412 with all 75s in it. I don't hear that much of a difference. I'm not that big of a I don't want to say tone snob, but it all sounds similar to me when you're playing through guitar cabinets, so it really doesn't bother me. As long as I can hear the tone on stage, I'm good. And like I said, I'm sending out of the main outs with the cabs that are selected in the Kemper, for the audience to hear. So that's all that really concerns me, is make sure the audience hears the true tone of what they're supposed to hear. All right, so let's boot this thing up, and I'll show you how long this takes for the remote to come in line. It's all synced together. It's great. That cable there, that pretty much powers this whole thing. It's awesome. I don't have to worry about hooking up another power source. I do have a pedal power underneath here for the other things on here, but I don't need to worry about powering this thing with like an AC outlet or whatever. So usually when I turn on the Kemper, I always put it in tuner mode. I don't know why, it's just a habit. You probably do it a different way, but I just like it going in tuner mode. So what happens is, as this starts loading up, the remote comes on and it'll say waiting for connection. So basically it's just waiting for the Kemper to fully load. And I'm on 3.0.1 firmware, and I loaded it the day before my gig this past weekend and haven't had any issues yet. I have not tried any profiling with it yet. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks I will. But as far as just playing, no issues. Everything sounds great, sounds as it should, works as it should. Okay, so the tuner is up. So let's watch this. Still waiting for connection. It should say connected. There it is, connected. And then it will pop up to the tuner. There you go. It didn't really take that long. How long was that? I don't know. 23 seconds maybe? So it mimics what you see on this screen. I love that. So let's go to performance mode. And here we are. Now, I'm in a Bon Jovi tribute. I know a lot of the guys on the forums use a lot of different sounds and a lot of different amps, and I'm basically Marshall. I don't need anything more. This is called my main rig. Right now it's my only rig. And basically I have slot 1, I have an acoustic sound, which is just really clean with a lot of effects on it. I have one of my DSL profiles, which is, I believe it's the dirty clean sound. It's kind of like a bluesy, not a lot of gain, just for any bluesy stuff that I need. I have, now these three, I think they're Michael Britt profiles. They're all the same, but they're just different degrees of, actually this one's a medium gain, this is a high gain, and this is the same as the high gain, but it's my lead patch. So on this one I have a volume boost in the, I believe it's the mod slot. It basically is like a 3.5 dB volume boost, because I don't rely on sound men anymore. They most of the time they're not paying attention, and when I go into a solo, the audience can't hear it, I can't hear it, so I just take care of that. Most of you guys probably do the same thing. Now on my lead patch, I have a delay that kicks on here. You can see the white light, that means it's on. This delay is more pronounced than the other stuff that I do. It's more like you can hear the delay more. If I went to my regular high gain patch, which is the same thing as this, except now there's the boost. So this is, you know, the rhythm volume. If I want to take a lead on this patch with not as much delay, I do have a delay here in the boost. I'll hit that on, and this delay, it's just more of a not really a slapback delay, but more of a lesser delay than what's on my lead patch here. So, and these other three have the same thing. Like if I went to my dirty, same thing. It's got the volume boost. So basically, I can be in any one of these rigs here. These four, even the clean one has it on there. The delay stays on all the time in this one, but I do have the boost. So if I'm in any of these four rigs, and I don't want to go to the rig here for a lead with a lot of delay, I'll just stay on these, and I'll hit that on, and it'll give me just a little bit of delay with that volume boost. And these other three, it's basically a flanger, a chorus, and a phaser. I think it's the Eddie phaser. I love that one. The tuner works great. You hit tuner here, and it goes to our favorite level, and it it shows up on there too. You shut it off, and it goes back to where you were. Now, the other thing on this, here's my lead patch. If I want to shut that off, I have it set to stay on. Like nothing will, I just programmed it that way. But if I'm on here, if I'm on my high gain patch and then I click this on, you can see both of those lights go on, and the delay and the boost are on there. Now, I realized this the other night when I was playing, instead of using my giant feet to try and hit that off at the end of the solo, all you have to do is touch that same rig again, and it'll go back to its original state, which is good because I have big feet and I was worried about stepping on these things the wrong way and hitting two at once, or I'm sure some of you guys have done that before. Okay, so now I put the Kemper in browse mode so I can kind of show you what I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this correctly using one hand because you kind of need both, and I have to hold this camera, this phone. This is one of my profiles from AM Audio that we recently put out at JMP, and as you can see on the screen on the remote, let me get out of the way here so you can. It's pretty much, it's got the 4 effect slots or the stops, and then the 4 effect slots here, reverb, delay, whatever. So if you want to add an effect, basically go to the profiler. Let's hold down D, and let's put it doesn't really matter at this point, a wah, and that's going to be in slot D. So it's on right now, but we're going to shut it off. All right, so say I want the wah effect in number 1 here for the effects switches. What you're going to have to do, now you're probably not going to be able to see me do this because I have to actually hold this down, and then I have to go over here, and basically all I'm doing is touching that D slot and while holding this down, and you can see it put it right there. So now anytime I want that wah effect, I turn it on, the light comes on, and now the light's on up there. Now if I turn it off, the light goes off, the light is off there. So you kind of, and if you look in here, it shows wah. You turn it on, you can see it up there. It's really cool because then you don't have to try to figure out, you know, what the heck is going on, what effects are on, what effects are off. It's all set up perfectly for that kind of thing. The tuner works the same way in here. The looper, I tried the looper for a few minutes. I'm not really a looper person, but it worked well. Right now it's empty. So you got these buttons here. You want to record, you hit that. It'll start recording, and it shows you the progress, how much time you have. You can hit stop. I use this for stop. It says stop. I'm going to try to play something in this video. I'm going to see if I can set this camera up somehow, some way. But I mean, that's it. You play back, you hit that to play back, and it plays back, you know, the length. Simple. And if you want to get rid of what you did, 1, 2, 3. Hit that 3 times. You can see 3 times equals trash, and now it's empty. And you just hit the looper button again, and it goes back to where you were. Okay, let's give this a shot. What do we got here? We're back in performance mode. I'm in one of my rigs, my only rig, as I mentioned earlier. I'm on switch 1, which is the acoustic. Let's see how this translates. And then switching is really, really quick. So I'm gonna go from there, and now I'm in my bluesy. And if I want to switch on, say, phaser, turn it off, and here's the lead boost with the little bit of delay. Cut that off. All right, so now let's go to my medium gain. We'll add some chorus. lead on there with a little bit of delay. Pretty cool. And then my lead rig here is basically the same as that, but you should hear a little bit more delay. Not sure how that's going to translate onto the iPhone here, but hopefully you get the idea. I love it. I mean, I could do any gig with those 5 rigs, basically. And I really don't even really step on the chorus or the flanger. I think one song maybe, and then the phaser a couple of times. But the other thing I didn't do was the tap tempo, which is all the way on the end. Let me see, all the way on the end here. And I'm gonna try to play. It's cool. I mean, it taps fine. You can see it on there, blinking. The other cool thing is if you hold it down, it activates beat scanner, and right now it's at 128.5. So if you're in a song and your drummer is going off the rails a little bit, and you need to get your delay or echo or whatever, your modulation, in sync with him again, while you're playing, all you need to do is hold that down, and then it will pick up the tempo that you adjusted to, and it will adjust your echoes and all that stuff to what you're playing. Really, really cool feature. I don't think I used it the other night because I totally forgot that I had access to that. So hopefully down the road I'm gonna end up using it. And I'm just really happy with the setup. Very simple setup, very easy to carry, very easy to plug in, very easy to get everything going and up and running, within a matter of minutes. Hopefully, I know the orders on the remote seem to be shipping 2 weeks early at the time I'm making this video. So hopefully they keep doing that, because their support is great, and they get a lot of flack on the forums sometimes, because I know people are impatient. I'm the most impatient person you're ever going to meet, and I've contacted them many times, and other than when I placed the order for the remote, I think they were just slammed with so many people contacting them that I didn't get a response right away, and it kind of upset me, but I hung in there, and my remote came right when they said it would. So hopefully the same happens for you guys. Hope you liked the video. You can check out my website at richardantonelli.com. You can also check out AM Audio Profiles if you want to see what we're up to. Doing these profiles in a really cool studio here in Rhode Island, USA. And I think I'll put the information in the information in the signature of this video with the links and everything if you guys want to check that out. Right now we have the JMP pack. We have a Fender pack that's just about coming out, some final tweaks done to it, and then we're not going to be prolific like Andy at the Amp Factory or some of the other guys who do really well profiles that I love. It's just a side thing for us, so whenever we have time, we get in the studio, we get some cool amps, we're going to do them. Until then, just buy from the other guys. Keep this thing going, keep the train moving, and hopefully I'll do another video at some point, something else. Thank you for watching, and have fun with the Kempers.